Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this conference, the Accessibility Conf. It's a really pleasure to be here today. So, well, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Juanjo Montiel. I'm a software engineer. Right now, I'm working in Travelport, but also I'm working as a freelancer, as accessibility consultant. So, well, I have these two profiles, the software developer and also accessibility consultant. So, well, I can create accessible product. I can show other people, teach other people how to make accessible products. And also I love to play with different things, with the technology. I'm playing with this technology thanks to a friend of mine, Pablo Núñez, who is working in Microsoft, and he said to me, "Hey, Juanjo, do you think that we could create any kind of functional test that works with screen readers?" So I took the challenge, and here we are with this speech. So, well, being blind, accessibility is very, very, very important for us, because if I don't make accessible product, I couldn't use them myself. So it's very, very important. And well, I want to start telling you a little story. A few years ago, I started to work with a customer that was creating his own product. So they started to develop this product, and they decided to make it accessible from scratch. So they hired a bunch of consultants, and we did it. We helped them to make it accessible. Well, they released the product, and the product was incredible. It was a very, very interesting product, a very powerful and useful product for everybody, because they kept in mind the accessibility. So a lot of people gave them a very, very positive feedback with the product. Everybody was very glad. "Oh, this product is amazing. This product is wonderful. I can use it." So, well, but the time passed, and they decide 2 years after, I think, more or less, they decide to redesign the UI, and even they decide to create a new UI with a new technology. Okay, so well, they started to do all the changes, and finally they did the second release with the second version of the product. And what happened? So a lot of people were complaining because they said to the developers, to the company, "Hey, this product was accessible, but was no longer. What happened? Why did you do that?" So they were not able to understand what happened. But the real thing is that they committed 2 errors. The first one is that they didn't bother to train their own employees. So they hired a bunch of consultants, and we were working with them to fix all the error, to guide them in the process. But they didn't do any kind of training with their developers, with their employees. So when they decide to redesign the UI, they were not able to remember what thing they should keep in mind to continue the accessibility in their product. So at the end, they were not able to keep accessibility, and it was a disaster. The second error, it was that they didn't create any kind of accessibility test, any kind of regression test regarding accessibility. So, well, the first point, the training, I cannot cover in this session, but at least we are covering the second part, the accessibility test, the functional test with accessibility, regarding accessibility. Okay, so for this issue, I'm going to use 2 tools. The first one is AxeCore. AxeCore is a product, a very, very powerful product developed by Dig System. Dig System is a very known company which developed this Axe with several flavors. They have the AxeCore, the React Axe, Axe for Angular, I think so. I think that they have also for Angular, AxeCli, I love that because it's a axe tool that can be performed by using the command line. So well, all these products have a purpose, which is make accessibility tests against a page or a component. So well, I'm developing with .NET language, with .NET ecosystem, and I'm working with .NET Core, with C#. So I encounter a package called Selenium Axe. Selenium is a web driver. It's a system which allows us to use a browser to conduct tests. We can open the browser, we can navigate at a specific URL, and we can get HTML elements and do several things with them. We can press button, we can open text edits and write on them. So in this case, we are putting together Selenium and Axe Core. Axe Core is a JavaScript file with all the rules that Axe can check against accessibility. For example, it has a rule to check if the images have alternative text or not. They can perform tests to see if the web pages has a header and heading of level 1, if I don't know if the forms have labels or not, all these kind of things. So with Selenium Axe, we can get an HTML body, for example, and perform analysis against this entire body and check if this document has accessibility problems or not. Okay, so with this Selenium Axe, I create, well, first of all, I'm going to show you the first project. This is a demo site. Demo site is a very small, very stupid website. Let's go, let's compile and run. Hey, what happened? Well, let's try to do with this demo site, debug, start new instance. Maybe I didn't have the startup project. Now, yes, okay. So this site is developed with the MVC pattern with .NET Core as .NET Core. Okay, so this homepage we have the privacy, well, home, privacy, sorry, contact, and WCAG criteria. As you can see, my English is not very good, but I am trying to explain myself as well as possible. Sorry for the subtitlers. Maybe you can encounter some problems subtitling my session. Apologize in advance, guys, sorry. Well, okay, so we have this site, and this site is the site that we are going to test, okay? So in the Visual Studio, which is the environment that I use to develop, oh, sorry. Okay, so I have this demo site test, okay? And here we have accessibility tests. And in this accessibility test, I have several test methods. So I have this one, test analyze index. So it's so simple. I get the URL, it's hardcode here. We could create any kind of constant or what, but this is a test. Okay, so we say, okay, we navigate through this URL, and then we say, okay, give me the result of WebDriver analyze. Analyze what? So the entire document. And then I say, okay, well, a test to check that the result is not null. And then we say, I want to make sure that the number of violations of this page is equal to 0. Okay, if Axe Core encounter one or more violations, this test will fail. So let's do that. Let's try to execute. Okay, I'm going to stop the current execution. I can put here a breakpoint, so when the test starts executing, the execution will stop here. Yes, exactly here. And let's execute the test by pressing Ctrl R, Ctrl T. Okay, it's starting. It starts Firefox. also the web page in the background. Firefox X is here. It's very, very interesting because we can control all Firefox behavior with .NET. Okay, so I get the URL. We navigate through this URL. So in Firefox, we can see here the page is loaded. And now I perform the analysis. It takes a few seconds. Okay. And here we can see, if we inspect the variables and we expand the results, we can see violations, 0 violations. Our site passed all the access core checks. Does it imply that we don't have any accessibility problem? Not at all. Okay, you know, by using accessibility automate tools, we can discover up to 50% of the problems. But anyway, you have to do a lot of manual tests to make sure that your site is entirely accessible, okay? Because there are things that we cannot cover. For example, if we put a wrong alt description in an image, the automate tool is not able to figure out that, because it does not understand the natural language and does not understand the image. We could do something with, computer vision and so on, but it's not covered in this session. Okay, so you say, oh, perfect. We have this test. We also have another test for other pages. For example, we have another test for contact. We could duplicate that for for privacy policy, for example. Is something very, very, very easy. Basically, we can copy this method. We can collapse. As you can see, I'm using the keyboard for everything because I can't use the mouse. So fortunately, Visual Studio has a very, very powerful keyboard system, shortcut system, sorry. So let's paste the method. Let's change the name. Test analyze privacy. And now in the URL, we change the home, the contact, sorry, by privacy. And this, the rest of the method is exactly the same. In fact, we could extract the method and pass an URL and check. We could do a lot of refactor here. But for now, let's do as it is. Okay, so let's try to compile. And let's execute that. Breakpoint here and execute. Okay, we navigate to the privacy. We are here. We analyze. And the results say that violation equal to 0. Okay, that's perfect. Now we're going to do a change. Okay, imagine I am the junior in the office and my boss asked me to make a change in the privacy policy page. So I open the page. I open the view, here, views, home, privacy. And here, for example, I don't know, I can put here, let's do with the contact. This is, okay, let's open the contact. We have here a form with a label. Name, so I decide, by myself, I decide to remove this label because I don't like the label. Goodbye label. So I save that, I compile, I build the project. Failed? Why? Okay, because we have something. We have the site open here. Okay. Let's try to close everything. Let's try to compile now everything again. Okay. That's it. Okay. So now we are going to push these changes in the repository. Okay. Well, first of all, we can see the result of this bad change. Okay. So if we navigate at contact page, hey, why it's saying name? If I remove the page, the label, what happened here? Okay, views, home, contact, input. I don't know why. Let's perform a clean solution just in case. And a rebuild. Let's remove whatever instance. And let's try to execute again. Okay. Okay, now the name does not have any label. So the screen reader read edit, only edit. So we just create a new accessibility barrier here. Okay, so now I'm going to push this to the repository. Okay. Git status, we have this fail modify. Okay, so git add, git checkout -b to create the branch. Feature slash new issue. Oh, I mistake with the name. I have an error with the name. Git branch feature barra new issue status. Okay, so git push. We have to copy the entire command. We paste, and we are pushing the new branch to the repository. Okay, so now I'm going to open the repository in which I have my code hosted, and here you can see, let's say, oh, what happened here? Oh, okay, I didn't add the files and the commits. And I'm stupid. Git add, git commit, I add a new accessibility issue. Now yes, git push. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. And now if I refresh this page, you updated feature new issue. So create a pull request. A pull request is a request of to put new changes in a specific branch. In this case, I want to merge my changes in the main branch. So the title, this is this one, and exactly, I say I want to put the feature in main branch. Okay, so create. But I have a branch policy. This branch policy is that before merging my changes in the main branch, I need to pass a CI build. A CI build is a build that should be completed, should be successful before merging. So the build is executing right now in the background in the Azure DevOps system. Okay, this is the CI process that I follow to make sure that never an accessibility issue can reach the main branch. So as you can see, the CI is in progress. So in the CI build, we are executing all the tests that we have in place, the tests that you saw before. So in the meantime, we can execute the test locally. So for example, if I go to demo site test, I open the accessibility test, and I find the analyze contact, I put a breakpoint here, and I execute the test. Okay, Firefox is open. We navigate through to the at the URL, and now we perform the analysis. Okay, what did the results say? So the result says violations. One violation. Oh no, my God. So the violation is description. Ensure every form element has a label. Okay, we remove the label, so this rule is failing because of this. So the test will fail. If I continue with that, this violation equals 0 will fail. You can see here, and you can see in the test explorer, that this test the contact failed. Okay, so we can check now in our pull request that the CI failed too. Okay, so we cannot complete this pull request until the build is success. So we need to fix this error to get it. So let's go to the contact page again. So here, label for name. Okay. Okay, that's all. Compile. Let's execute just in case. Contact. And the screen reader says name because we put the label in place again. So let push the new changes. So git add star, git commit, I revert my label removal. Git push. And now in the pull request, automatically you can see that the CI build is running again. In progress. Okay, so if we did it correctly, the CI build should be successful, and we could complete the pull request. Indeed, we can press here, set autocomplete, and say, okay, set autocomplete. And when the pull request, when the build is success, automatically the pull request will be completed and the changes will be merged into main branch. Okay, so this is one of the tools that I wanted to show you today. The second tool is a tool that I developed 2 years ago, which is MVDA testing driver. Which is MVDA testing driver? So this is a driver to manage MVDA. MVDA is a screen reader. I'm sure that you know MVDA is an open source screen reader. So with this driver, as we did before with Selenium, we are able to control MVDA. Not only control, but also read what MVDA pronounces. So we can get the pronunciation of whatever thing in NVDA, get the text in our .NET program, and compare with whatever thing that we expect. So, for example, well, it's better to do an live experiment. Okay, so we can see that the build has successful and the pull request has been completed. So now if I go to main and I do git pull, we can see that we have our changes merged. If we do git log, in the log we can see this line, merge PR27, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's all. Okay, so now we are going to do the NVDA test. Okay, first of all, I have a project ready. So let's put inside this solution. So the project is here. Demo site screen reader. So we paste here. And now it's copying. Okay, now I open the solution and I say, okay, add existing project. Okay, so well, the idea behind this project is, imagine, let's open the demo site again. Okay. Okay, and let's go to the contact page. Now I'm going to open NVDA instead of JAWS. That is the screen reader that I'm using right now. NVDA.
Desktop list. Contact demo site personal micro.
Okay, so now I'm in the headers of the page.
Mainland contact by phone collapsed link heading
It's a
level 3.
contact by phone collapse. So I can press enter.
Expanded.
And expand. Press enter again.
Collapsed.
And collapse. Okay, so for example, with my test, I could open this page, ask NVDA what it says when it is on this heading, and compare with I expect to be pronounced by NVDA. So to achieve that, I use a tool called a voice viewer. It's in here in the NVDA menu, in the tools.
Remote sub menu, view log, speech viewer.
Speech viewer, okay.
Contact demo.
So with this speech viewer,
NVDA show speech
here,
viewer on start, edit,
when I go to the header, sorry.
Contact by phone.
Contact by
link
phone.
Heading.
So here in the viewer, we can see this one.
Contact by phone collapsed link heading.
So we could copy this one to a notepad, for example.
Untitled.
Paste that and use it to make the test. Okay, so
NVDA speech viewer row 1 column 2.
Let's close NVDA.
Exit NVDA.
I use JAWS because JAWS works very well with Visual Studio. NVDA does not work with Visual Studio as I need. Okay, so let's analyze the project, the NVDA project. Okay, so we have here, for example, the contact should test. Check contact header collapsible panels. Okay, so when the system reaches this point, this test, we have an initializer which open NVDA, and then I can control inside this test. So what I do is, okay, I put the window in the foreground, because if not, NVDA is not able to read it. And then, well, I get the URL. Well, maybe the test explorer is in front, so now you can see the code. So we navigate to the URL, we focus on the window to make sure that NVDA is able to read it. Okay, we go to the beginning of the page, sending control home. So as you can see, we are controlling NVDA from this line, and we are saying, hey, go to the beginning of the document. And now we say, okay, send command and get spoken text. And the command is browse mode next heading 3. So NVDA will go to the first heading level 3, and in this variable we will have the text. And then we compare the text against what we copied before in the notepad, which is contact by phone, collapse, link, heading level 3. So let's execute the test, okay? Well, we go to the next heading and we compare with the different heading text. So if something fails, if something is not pronounced as expected, the test will fail. Okay, so imagine that, for example, we remove the area expanded from the heading. So the next time that we execute the text and the test, as NVDA only will say contact by phone heading level 3, the test will fail. Okay, so let's try to execute. Okay, I go to remove all the breakpoints. I unload JAWS, and I'm going to execute the test. I unload JAWS because if we have open two screen readers, they intercept each other, so we would encounter problems. Okay, let's execute it. NVDA started.
Tests running. Microsoft Visual Studio window. Test Explorer window. Tracking list view table. Connected to control server. Mozilla Firefox busy.
Open Firefox. Open the page. As you can see, NVDA is working alone. It's working
Mozilla
completely
Firefox.
alone, being controlled by .NET Engine.
Busy. Contact demo site. Banner landmark navigation heading level 1. Main landmark. Contact by postal address. Fill the contact form. Collapse link heading level 3. A11Y tests.
Okay,
running.
that's all.
Microsoft Visual
It
Studio
goes
window.
through all the heading,
Tracking list
comparing
view
the
table.
text, and NVDA is stopped automatically. Okay, so let's open JAWS again. Oh, my time is almost over. Okay, I'm in a hurry right now. Okay, so I see the test and it say screen reader test passed. So where is here contact shoot, and this one, the header, is has passed. Okay, so now imagine that we go to the demo site again, and we go to home, to contact, we find phone, and we have here the header, to collapse, that target, and we remove this one, area expanded to false. We remove that. So now this is a normal heading without any kind of area to say that the heading could be collapsed and expanded. Okay, so now we rebuild the project. Let's execute the demo sites. And let's see what NVDA says. Let's open NVDA. As you can see, my NVDA instance has a voice, and the NVDA, that's the test engine open, has another voice, because there are two different instances. The NVDA test open and portable instance, and when it's closed, it removes the instance. So it's a completely portable instance. Okay, so I go to contact. And here, it says contact by phone link heading level 3, but it does not say collapse. Okay, so now we are going to execute the test. Okay, so let's open JAWS. Okay, let's go to the test. Contact shoot. And let's execute the test again.
A11Y tests, running, Microsoft Visual Studio window, tab control, contact should.cs tab selected 1 of 3, text editor edit, connected to Mozilla Firefox busy, about blank.
Okay, Firefox is open, it's
Mozilla
navigating to the
Firefox.
page.
Busy, contact demo site, banner landmark navigation,
Okay,
heading level 1,
let's
main
see.
landmark contact by phone link heading
Oh,
level 3.
contact by phone, and it stopped because
A11Y
it
test,
said no,
running,
no, no,
Microsoft Visual
this,
Studio.
that not match. So I stopped the test and I marked the test as failed. I'm going to check it. Okay, so it said that failed. So let's copy the details. Let's open Notepad. So it say result message expected, contact by phone collapse link heading level 3. NVDA says contact by phone link heading level 3. So as it not says the collapse word, the test does not pass. Okay, so we can do another test, for example, with a tree view. A tree view is a non-standard HTML control, so we put a lot of area to get it. So we have this test, tree view accessible should. As you can see inside the test, we have a lot of interaction. So we go to the test, to the tree view. We send right arrow, and we check if it say expanded. A lot of different operations to check that the tree view works properly. So we can execute the test. So we can also, running, as we did before, put
window,
this test
window,
inside an integration process,
busy.
continuous integration.
About blank.
So if the test does not pass, the pull request won't be approved.
Mozilla Firefox.
We are in the page.
Busy. Tree view example demo site. Banner landmark
we go
navigation
to the
landmark
tree
heading
view.
level 1 link demo site. List with 2 items link home.
And we
link
start
privacy out
to
of list. List with
interact
4 items
with
link
it.
home. Link privacy. Link
Let's
contact.
go.
All WCH. Expanded. Level 2 1.2 1.3 1.4 level 1 2 expanded.
Okay, everything is working fine. That's all. The test is completed and the test is passed because
A11Y tests running.
the tree view worked as expected. Okay, so as you can see, we can create manual tests for isolated components. For example, you can do a chat in ARIA and you can check that NVDA is reading the new messages. You can do an autocomplete and you can check that NVDA pronounce what it should pronounce. All these kind of things. So in the moment in which unintentionally you create a barrier, for example, as I did before, removing the ARIA expanded, removing whatever attribute that NVDA should pronounce, and all these kind of things, with this kind of test, we can realize about this early and fix it before going to production with this kind of error. So with these two tools, with the Axe Core and with MVDA testing driver, we can do a lot of automate tests and make sure that our site keep the accessibility over time. Okay, so well, I think my time is over. And well, only to say, MVDA testing driver and the Selenium Axe are open source. So MVDA testing driver is in my repository. I'm going to put the URL so the organizers can put in the video, and also the other resources that I use to show you all of this session. So well, guys, thank you so much to be here. And thank you again to the organizers to allow me to be here today and explain you all these things about MVDA testing driver and Axe Core and all the automate test. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
So yeah.